In this life, we all tend to overload on automation. One, two, three.
Hey, what's up, everybody out there? This is Ed Joy coming to you loud from Maui. Aloha. What's up, man? Hey, I was just thinking to myself, that we need a special guest on here, and I got him. I can't believe I got this special guest. He is awesome. My friend. I've been talking about him since episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, getting him on here, and I got him on here. He's a good friend of mine. We've known each other for years. And shoot, I'm just going to introduce him. Everybody, DJ Blast, a.k.a. Ed.
Hello, everybody. What an intro. My goodness.
Oh,
I
thank
feel
you.
so special.
You are special,
Stop
man.
it.
You are special.
You tell my wife that.
No, she knows.
She knows, yeah.
She got the she picked the good one here.
She has to deal with this every single day, so
I know,
it's
just
intense.
Like my wife too.
What crazy idea do you have now?
Yeah. It's funny that you're talking about your wife and all that. I remember when I used to listen to your show and you were bringing up the drawer. You know what I'm saying?
The junk drawer.
The junk drawer.
Yeah, everybody has a junk drawer.
She hates the junk drawer.
Yeah.
But you're like, but if it wasn't for this junk drawer, everything would be all over the table.
Yeah.
So,
Just the little knickknacks that really don't have a place.
Yes.
A little screwdriver, a piece of tape, little things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, everybody, this is DJ Blast. He's coming from Chilltown. That's a little special place in Maui that you guys don't know about. But if you go to his shows, he can share it with you.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Hey, so let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
We're a small kid time. I remember I was about 16, 17 years old, and I was living at my friend Jason's house at the time up at Wai'ehu Terrace, old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
And waking up to you, literally, like an arm's length away from his window, because his window's right there, your window's right there.
Yeah.
There was like a lane of sand separating the two houses, and just waking up to beats and Prince.
I'm sorry.
First thing in the morning, I remember waking up going, what? And it's like that cartoon where the character's asleep and then the neighbor's like playing some sort of band sounds.
Yeah.
The thump of the bass, your foot starts moving. Next thing you're waking up like, what the heck? That was me, man.
Oh, man. I do apologize to all the neighbors I've ever had. Sorry about that.
And I remember opening my window going, Ed, and you'd be looking at me with these huge earphones on, just moving to the music. And I'm like, hey, dude, good morning.
Yeah, I remember we would record in the little storage closet in the garage of those houses, and I converted it. Like, I took all of my dad's junk out of there, and we converted it into a recording studio. And so it gave you this false sense of maybe nobody could hear us, and stuff, but it's just thin walls.
Right.
And I put a phone line into the storage closet, its own dedicated phone line, in case, and had a little light, so you wouldn't hear the ringing, so I could be recording, but I could see when the phone's ringing by this little light. Mm-hmm. And we had done a gig, and we were back at my house about 2, 3 in the morning, and all the guys were with me, and we had this idea for a song, so we all just kind of went in there. We already wrote our raps and everything, and we're all just taking turns, cutting, wearing the headphones. You couldn't hear the music, but you could hear us rapping and stuff. So we would take our turns and rapping in the mic and doing our parts and stuff, and then about 20 minutes later, that light's flashing, and I'm like, who the hell's calling me at 3:30 in the morning, right?
Yeah.
It was my dad from the other side of the house. And he was like, cut it out. I was like, oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
And if he could hear me from the other side of the house, the poor guy whose bedroom was right in the house next to us. His bedroom was adjacent to the closet. He must have been like clear as day.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, what are these guys talking about at 3 in the morning? Like,
oh, those were the days though, in that area now, houses everywhere, cars parked everywhere. It's chaos. Back in those days, it was 1, 2, 3 houses, sand, everywhere. You could park your car anywhere. There was no traffic, no congestion. Yeah. So you basically had the freedom of just
a little bit
neighborhood,
and the neighbors never complained. I don't know why. I don't know why they never complained.
You know why? Because we loved your mixes.
Oh,
man.
stop
We
it.
saw the talent back then.
Not at 3 in the morning.
Oh, man. or 6.
Right.
Or 6.
Or 6 in the morning. Yes.
Yeah, in the when we first met, also, I got this job, one of my first jobs, JR's Music.
Yes.
You remember that?
I
Right?
remember that. Yeah.
And you were the manager.
I was the assistant manager.
To Lisa.
Yes.
Was it to Lisa?
They tried to keep making me the manager, and I kept having to tell them no, because I was actually the manager of a music department at another store. And so I was working 2 full-time jobs and DJing, and I didn't want the extra responsibility. But I did all the manager stuff anyway. Yeah. So yes, I remember you and your brother came in for a job, and I was, I think I'd known you guys previously, but not like really well.
Yeah.
And when you guys came in, I mean, I just loved you and your brother, and you guys are 2 handsome young men. And I was like, these guys have got to get on the roster, man. So because I made a habit of only picking I was trying to stock up with as many different girls as I could, because then guys would come in and buy music if there was girls everywhere in the record store, right? So, but then you guys were just too unbelievably handsome. I couldn't pass you guys up, so I had to.
So you had the pimp daddy thing going on.
I had to get you guys
already.
Yes, and the girls would come in and look for where are the Joy Brothers?
Whatever.
Where are the Joy Brothers at?
Oh, I loved working at that music store. And that opened my eyes to other musics, because prior to that, I was really into punk rock and just metal. And, sometimes if you're just into a single, category type of music, you don't open your eyes to other, things out there.
Right. Especially when it's metal, because everything else sucks.
Everything else sucks, man. You can't go faster than that, then,
yeah, it sucks.
But, it really did open my eyes into other musics, and now that I'm older, I appreciate all music.
Yeah.
I love them all. I even love taiko. So, well, yeah.
Well, why not?
Right now. And then Woolworths.
Oh,
buddy, Woolworths.
Oh,
You used to work at Woolworths. Do you remember Woolworths?
Yeah.
Oh. He would be, guys, he's such a hard worker. He would leave JR's Music.
Yeah.
And on his way to Woolworths, which was in the same area, Maui Mall, he would be changing. And by the time you hit the stage in the middle, remember that stage with the water feature? Before you even hit that stage in the middle, he'd be in his red vest, ready to rock and roll.
Ready to get my Woolworth on. There was a Moon Patrol game at Woolworth, though. That made my days a little better.
Oh, Moon Patrol.
Drop some quarters in Moon Patrol on my break and stuff. Yeah, Woolworth. That was I did a couple of stints at Woolworth, and I still have nightmares. I wake up and I have nightmares that I'm back at Woolworth working there, even though the store has been closed for decades at this point, right?
It's now a theater.
Yeah. So it was hard, but it was one of those things where it was like, how bad you want it. How bad you want it, you know what I mean? So they made me a manager over there of the music department, and I remember at the last, I did a full year as the manager over there, and I think I had already quit JR's Music, and I was just working at Woolworth and doing events as a DJ, and I remember my whole year was coming up, and I had met my financial goals, I did my sales and everything like that, and I told the HR manager, I was like, I need a year off. I mean, not a year off. I need 2 weeks. Can you give me 2 weeks off, leave of absence? Okay, cool. So in those 2 weeks, I kind of just reassessed everything. I got some sleep. And I just reassessed everything. And then I looked ahead on my calendar, and I saw that I had enough gigs in the next year lined up, and I was still booking more. And I thought, well, I can pay for everything at this point.
Right.
I'm going to be okay. I don't need this other job. So at the end of my 2 week sabbatical, I walked into the human resource office, and Mrs. Haleakala, she's a wonderful lady, and I sat down. She's like, "You ready to get back to work?" And I looked at her and I said, "I quit."
Wow.
So I hugged her, and then I went around the store and thanked everybody, 'cause I knew I wasn't coming back. And I thanked everybody that I worked with and everything, and never looked back. And that was the last 9 to 5 job I ever worked.
But JR's, you still worked at
No,
JR's,
I had quit
right?
JR's already, and so that was the the edge of the cliff, and then you just jump.
The final jump.
You just jump right off,
Right,
kind of thing. So, but it was, and that was 91.
Oh, 91.
So yeah, that was the last time I worked a full time, regular, people job. So that whole time since has just been,
just
DJing,
doing gigs.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's, you look back on it, and at the time I was just like, this is nuts.
Right.
And then I look back on it and wow, that's been a long time. Like
Mhm.
this, no supplemental income. That was it. And I was just like, wow, that's pretty
And
cool.
that's a large leap, because if you're going from financial security and knowing that, hey, I got a job 9 to 5, I'm paying my insurance, I'm being responsible, and then suddenly, I think I have enough, to just do it and just quit.
It's that whole bet on yourself thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So now I find myself at the new precipice. I don't know if you would jump forward, but at the moment now, I got another cliff to jump off of.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
We're gonna get.
So it's kind of neat because where it's
Yes.
like kind of bookend. Like, okay, I'm gonna jump off the
I
cliff
know,
again.
and that's why I'm trying to get this interview before you jump, because I can see you going, hui ho, and I'm gone.
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista, baby. It's all like, wait.
Okay.
That's funny. That's awesome. Yeah, So I'm assuming at that point in time, that's when Chilltown was born.
Oh, it was actually right before. It was 80. I want to say 89.
I saw that old picture you posted.
89.
Oh my God, Mouse in that kung fu outfit.
Yes.
I was just talking about Black Belt Theater.
Yeah.
Adam that was Adam,
That
right?
was Adam.
And
Alvin, Doug, A1, and myself.
A1, you sporting that mullet with the long tail in the back.
I
You
just
look
want
so cool.
I just want to say to anybody that were born after 95 that we didn't call it a mullet in the 80s.
No, it was not.
It was just long hair.
Yeah.
It was just long hair.
It was just long hair with the sides trimmed.
And for me, it was functional. I liked having short sides because of my headphones.
Right.
So it was I create a lot of heat when I work. And so keeping no hair on the sides is great. Put the headphones on. Well, if I do no hair on the sides and I go short on the top, I got a regular person haircut.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So grow the hair out back. And then it's like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, who's that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this, again, before that idiot who created the word mullet, if I ever find him, he's getting a punch in the mouth. Because now, let's just say, like, it's hard to kind of back up now. But let's just say that the word mullet doesn't exist. All right? That would still be a viable haircut for men.
Right.
It would still be dope.
Right.
But like your son's generation, you can't even imagine that.
Right. But you know what? They love it. They love it.
I have my hair like
Oh yeah, he's.
See?
Yeah.
I mean, you could go it all out long now, and then you do the
That's how mine was.
man bun
Right.
style and all that. But you can't go like nice trim and then get the long at the same time. It was best of both worlds.
I know.
And that idiot.
That idiot.
I know, right? That idiot. I want to just punch him in the mouth, man. And to this day, people still come up and man, what happened to the hair?
Yeah, what happened to the hair? Yeah, because your hair was long in the back.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny to me though. The older we get, the shorter our hair on our head get, but the longer the hair on our chin. because now you got what is that? A goatee?
It's a goatee, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Black Belt Theater Master Fu.
Yeah.
The Master Fu look. It looks awesome on you, man. With your haircut, you look awesome.
I had a friend of mine in the entertainment business told me that he didn't come up with this, but he heard from another quote that if you're in the entertainment business and you have a definite silhouette, where if someone just saw the silhouette of you, they'd go, boom,
that's who you are.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I needed to get a more defined silhouette, and I had kind of played with the long goatee a couple times to the dismay of my wife.
Of course.
But I thought, I'm just gonna go for it and let it grow. And now once in a while she'll catch herself kind of playing with the goatee a little bit.
Right.
And I'll look at her and I'll be like, "You like the goatee?" And she's like, "No, I don't." But yeah, man. I mean, yeah. So the long hair thing was just so much fun, and it was one of my calling cards. It was, and other people kind of, a lot of DJs that were coming up in the early '90s and stuff would copy my haircut and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, well that's something.
Right.
It's something. But then you kill my hair, I got to come up with something different.
Right.
And so I've come up with a couple of different little nuances, little signature things, but now it's the goatee and the hat with the big letters on it.
You know what? Let's get to that right now, man. I love that. I love that. So, hey guys out there, if you're not familiar with who DJ Blast is, go to his Facebook.
Yeah, you can find me on all the social medias at DJ Blast Maui.
There you go, and you can see how he looks like his pose. Oh man, it's awesome. He looks like an anime cartoon, like a superhero from Dragon Ball Z or somewhere.
I'm a superhero from Maui.
Right, he's like a mixture between a bouncer and a nerd. You're gonna love it. He looks great, and the kukui nut necklaces, And the hat, he has a hat says blast on the front.
I knew the hat was going to work. I was working at a club, and this girl come up to me, and I thought she wanted to make a request. So I take the headphones off. I said, "Yeah, what do you want to hear?" And she goes, in all seriousness, right? She looks right at me, dead in my eyes, and goes, "Are you DJ Blast? Or are you just wearing his hat?"
No. Oh.
She actually said that to me.
Or are you just wearing his hat?
Or are you just wearing his hat? And I was just like, wow, that's so multi-layered in every way.
It's like thank you, but what the hell are you talking about?
Wait, who's wearing my hat? Like,
it's
so
like
I just
she knows you, but she don't know you.
Yeah, and then I just kind of tip my hat. I'm in the flesh, baby. Like
in the flesh, baby.
I'm the one and only.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Or are you just wearing his hat? And people have come up and asked to buy the hat too. Like, do you have it up for sale on your website and stuff?
Man,
And I'm
there
like,
you go.
Merchandising.
You'd sell out. You would sell out, man. I know.
Well, that hat is handmade. So I don't know how to be like drilling holes in hats and finding those plastic letters everywhere. But yeah, I guess it's possible.
Hey, I was talking about it on an old podcast about Bula Ia. Remember how you used to sell street underwear and puka shirts? He had his own shop at Kahumanu.
Yes.
White T-shirts with yellow stains under the armpits. He was.
That lasted for 5 minutes, right?
Well, but he sold everything, so it was popular for a short while until he tried to run for governor.
Right.
And then that messed him up.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, I love your ensemble.
Thank you.
love the way your poses too. And please explain to everybody your whole pose thing.
I'm a big fan of Japanese hero shows. There's really no way to describe it for anybody that aren't from Japan or Hawaii that really kind of knows. It's kind of a subculture where it's not animation, it's live action. And the genre is called tokusatsu, and it features heroes that grow large or just humans that turn into human form, but robots or control robots. There's so many different variations of it. And one of the shows that we're close to the same age. I mean, Channel 13.
Oh, yeah.
In the 70s.
KHETV or something?
No, KIKU.
Oh, Kiku, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Kiku,
Right.
Would show these Japanese shows here in the mornings, on Saturday mornings. And we have Kamen Rider V3, Kikaida, Go Ranger. Yeah. Later in the early 80s, they were showing Battle Fever J.
Battle Fever.
Yes.
Remember that? Miss America. That's the one, right?
Yes.
Hip hip hooray, we're orphans.
So I would collect. I would actually trade for those shows, VHS trading on the early days of the internet, 93, 94, when the internet was just text. Right. I found like traders, and I would record the things I have, send it to them. They'd record what they have, send it to me, and that's how my tape collection grew. Now you can download the shows easily on the internet. People are fan subbing the shows and things like that, but a lot of the older shows are harder to find. So what I did was I created this. It's a henshin pose, and so when these heroes would change from human form to their hero forms, they would do a kind of 4-step to 6-step different gestures with their hands to kind of symbolize the transformation or henshin into the hero form. And I loved it because it was, it was on, because they were, they would look at the bad guy and the bad guy would look at them like, what are you doing here? And they'd be all like, henshin! Yeah. And then they would go through the poses and then blam, do a flip, and then they'd be the superhero form, right? And so I decided I wanted to do something like that. So I created a 4-step hand gesture that's not really my henshin, because that's more what I use at the end of the night, not a beginning of the night kind of a thing.
To close your show.
To close my show. Right. And it's just kind of designed to, it means something to me. I'm not really defining it like this is what it means. Like, you guys don't need to know what it means to me to enjoy it. But it's basically just, I can't show you on the podcast, but it's a couple of gestures, and then it ends with my, me putting my fist together. And so those are on a lot of my branding in terms of flyers and stuff, where I have my head down and I have my fist together. Right. Because the end of the henshin is pure gratitude. I've always been thankful for the position that I've been in. Yeah. It is, I don't even know how I got so lucky to be able to tap into this talent and utilize it, monetize it, and be able to make people's lives better in the process by entertaining them. And so I'm just gratitude. And so the end of my henshin, my 2 fists, and then I bow, and it's kind of a Asian kind of a gratitude thing, like I'm grateful to everybody. So I decided to use that end of the henshin for all of my marketing at this time
Right.
in my career, to use that for the marketing. And it's worked well. In fact, when I go and uh, play, a lot of people take pictures and videos, for their social media
Right.
of me. And so when they face the camera to me, and I'm introverted, so
Right.
I'm a bit
Right,
awkward, right?
right.
And I'll rock, but the minute you like put a camera, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. yeah. Put a microphone in front of you. You're crazy.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
fine.
DJ Blast.
Yeah.
You put a camera.
Camera, and I'm
right.
just like, what to do? So now with that, I could just give them my gratitude post, put my fist together, put my head down, and people take pictures.
Right.
But because I've been using it for marketing the last year, now when I do it and people go to take a picture and they wait, and then I go and do the thing, and they take the picture. I see the flash go off, and then they like, yay! They scream and stuff,
Yeah.
like we're so glad he did the thing and stuff. And I'm like,
right.
so now I'm like,
That's your pose.
I put my fist down together, I put my head down, and I'm thinking gratitude, and then they go, yay! And I went, yay, it works. Gotta do myself, this is working.
And it becomes your symbol. And so when people see you, they're like, hey, do the pose,
Do the pose.
do it. And once they start getting into you and learning about you and what that's all about,
Yeah.
that last, and what he's talking about, guys, is his poses with his two fists together and his head down, is just the last pose of a whole series of things that he does to Haruken,
Ah.
to gather that chi, right?
I actually did that at the end. I opened up for Crystal Method at the Mac, and I did
Mac.
the whole pose at the end of my set, and I had everybody was so like, there was nobody dancing at the beginning of my set, and then as I went and finished my hour, the whole place was dancing, and like it was in. I earned every one of those people. They were there to see the Crystal Method. I ain't under no delusions and nothing, right? But I gave them a good time, and so when I was like saying my goodbyes, I did my henshin, and with every hand gesture that I did, they got louder and louder.
Whoa.
And then when I hit the gratitude pose at the end, there was this huge pop. And again, I'm like looking down, and I'm going, it works.
Isn't that a good feeling though? It's the getting to that success that I think is more exciting than actually gaining.
It's the journey, man. But it's
the journey.
It's the coming up with a crazy idea and then
Making it work.
Making it work is so interesting, and I've done so many things that haven't worked. That when the things that do work, it's like I don't take it for granted.
Right.
It's like it's amazing because I know the next 10 ideas I have might not work.
Right.
And I know that like I've talked to you and other people, and you guys remember the things that work.
Right. Yes.
But in between all those great things that you guys have, there were all the other ideas that I tried that just didn't click or just didn't work. And those are just as heartbreaking,
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop me. It keeps me grinding and going.
Yes.
And my wife, who's been with me almost 20 years now, has seen me fail probably more times than I've succeeded.
Yeah.
And so now when I come up with a crazy idea and I'm like, listen, baby,
Yeah.
Kamen Rider and Kikaida, I'm going to do this whole henshin, and then I'm going to end it with my fist closed. And then she's looking at me going, okay.
Yeah, that's a typical wife reaction.
I'm going to wear kukui nuts. I'm going to grow my goatee long. She's like, okay.
Oh, I love the kukui nut story. Tell me about what he did.
So I wanted every piece of my branding right now, the hat, the glasses are kind of hip hop, which is my base that I come to the game with.
And that
My Chinese shirt,
yeah.
my Chinese shirt, because I'm part Chinese, and I've always loved Asian culture, kung fu, and the respect and the oneness of Asian culture. I've always dug, and the hero shows and things like that. And I wanted to put a piece of Hawaii, and I used to have I had a handmade koa wood Maui that I used to wear around my neck. It was maybe the size of like a silver dollar.
Oh, it was shaped
of
of
Maui.
Maui.
It
Oh,
was the
wow,
shape of Maui, and I
nice.
had it on a necklace. Had my name
branded in it.
branded on
Right.
it, right? And I was talking to my wife, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I should do the necklace again." And she's like, "No."
Right.
Like kind of like been there, done that.
Yeah.
So I wanted a piece of Hawaii, but I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't use a lei because where am I going to get a lei in Germany if I'm playing?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I thought I had some kukui nuts from an event that I did that was given to me, and I was thought, oh, I'll just rock the kukui nuts, man. They're durable enough to go around the world,
Right.
and I could take them and it would be cool. And then I put one of the kukui nuts necklaces on, and I was just kind of like, well, preachers do weddings with a kukui nut necklace, and tourists wear a kukui nut
Right,
necklace.
the head figure.
Yeah, and I'm
Right,
just
right.
like, I'm just kind of wearing it, and I'm like, nah, maybe this is a bad idea. And the
Right.
wife's all like, no,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
And then I had another one that was a little shorter and had different colors. It varied from black to like a beige. And I took the shorter one and I put it on top of the longer one, and now I had double kukui nuts.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh, now this. For real, it was like night and day, man. And I was like, double kukui nut, how rebellious, man. Who would even think of doing such a crazy thing? And so I walked in the other room and I looked at my wife, right? And I put my arms out. I was like, double kukui nut, baby. And she's all like, yeah, I gotta think that.
It works. And it does work, man.
And it works. And again, it's one of those things where, it's signature and people see it, and it's like cool. But yeah, it really comes from me just throwing darts at the wall and just trying to be
Whatever
creative
hits.
and,
Yeah, hit and
and
miss.
but it's got to be fun. Like if I'm doing something, it doesn't make me laugh, it doesn't give me a sense of joy or anything, then I'm like, nah, it's probably not gonna. If it doesn't give me joy, why would it give anyone else? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm gonna have fun with it. And then when I showed my manager the branding that I wanted to do, because she's based in London, and I showed her what I wanted to do, she was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah,
and
right.
she loved it, and she's got to love it because she's got to push me.
So
the fact that she loved it, I was just like,
if you grow, we grow together.
I'm in business.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to talk about another thing, and we brought it up earlier, that did hit good. And Chilltown. Just Chilltown. You had the Chilltown van. Remember, you had your Chilltown. You even had a Chilltown hat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
we had Chilltown Frisbees.
Chilltown. See, that's what I mean. That's another. I remember the Chilltown van.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Yeah.
Everyone's chilling, pun intended, chilling around Jack in a Box, cruising around, and in the distance, you'd hear a thumping, thum, 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 coming, and we already knew. Oh, that's Bud, that's Ed. That's Ed in the Chilltown van. I mean, this was even pre-blast. We all knew as Bud from the Chilltown, and so here you came in that white van, big old graffiti letters on the side, Chilltown, slide door open, and I believe it was Rob, or Alvin. One of them was hanging in the door. Full van packed with all you guys, heads bopping to the beat. Doom, 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 doom. Everybody, all of you driving, bumping, all you guys and you guys were all passing through. I'm getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. And the slide door's open, and I believe it's like Rob or something, and he's in the middle of the door like this.
Just hanging out.
Like a monkey. And just looking at everybody. Doom, 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 doom. And you guys pass by. Pounding this awesome beat, and then gone. And then you're like going off into the distance. Doom, 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 doom. And then we're all skating, we're all skaters at that. And we'd be skating the curb, and I'd be like, oh, there goes Chilltown.
There we go.
There goes Chilltown.
I'm so glad that you have a positive memory about that, because as many people that dug it, there were people like, screw you guys. They were so angry with us all the time. Yeah. Stop dancing around.
Stop dancing around in that van. Oh, the van door opened though with his arms up in the air. He's hanging on something. I don't know. He was hanging on that, and he's just looking at everybody like, doom, doom, and just and all you guys bounce in unison.
Bro, we used to have so much fun with that van. We used to do this thing where we would play the music really loud, and I had the speakers that I take out to gigs, 15-inch with a giant horn. I had two of them along the back door, chained them to the back door, and just amped the hell out of it.
And the doors open.
Yeah, and
the doors were strapped open.
There were times where we would turn the speakers around, just face them out the back of the van, just blast traffic.
Blast! There you go.
But we did this thing where we would stop at a stoplight, and we tried to see how much we could tip the van to the music. So we wanted to make the van dance. So we would go like the guys would be like grabbing inside the walls, like rob them, and we push the van back and forth, and have it bouncing and everything.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford hydraulics.
I know.
So we'd make, and there were times where we felt like, oh, it's coming off the wheels, man. Like, and just bang in the, and then the light would turn green, and then we, then go.
Right. To the music.
To the music, man.
Oh man, those were awesome times. Awesome times.
We took that van to Honolulu.
Oh, wow.
And did a couple of gigs, and just put it back in the day. We could put it in the ferry, right?
The ferry, right? Yeah.
Packed it with the gear, flew over, picked it up from the harbor, and we're driving around doing the same thing in Honolulu, right? Just beating up the block, got the graffiti, right? And we're going down Waikiki, and there's a dude on a 10-speed, and he's coming to the main road that we're on, and he's about to stop at the corner, right? So right when he stops at the corner, we're going by slow, we're cranking the music, and one of my guys hanging out the shotgun window, and the guy looks at my friend and he goes, "Finish your graffiti, man." Looking at the van, because there were spaces, right? We could have painted more.
It wasn't all
So he goes, "Finish your graffiti, man." And then he's looking at the van, right? And he, boom, right to the telephone pole with the bike. And I was like, "Oh my God,
watch where you're going, man."
Is he okay?" No, he was. But yeah, dude, that van gave us so many. I took so much grief because of that van.
Right.
And I had a lot of good. We were hunted by the police for a year with that van. They would pull me over everywhere.
Oh, because you guys just look like you're disruptive?
I would beat up the block, no doubt, with the sound system, right? But when we got into neighborhoods, I'd always turn it down.
Right, yeah.
I wasn't going to go through houses beating up the block.
Oh,
What's the point?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
But, and I was mindful of that. But the cops don't know that. They see me going down the main drag and I'm beating up the block. They're going to think I'm doing that everywhere, right?
Right.
So we're drug-free, alcohol-free, always been, still am.
Good.
And they had nothing on us. Can we search the van? Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
You're not going to find anything.
Yeah, you didn't even smoke cigarettes.
No, I don't know. I don't nothing.
Right.
So they never find anything, and it would always be frustrating to them and stuff. And so one night in front of Fun Factory, Kahului, we come pulling up, doing our usual thing, right? And we just got done with a gig, so we were all having a great time, beating up the block. We come out, the van, and right when we come out, the cops come, boom, undercovers, spread eagle, boom, frisking us in front of everybody. Fun Factory. Wow. So we go through the whole rigmarole, look at the van, blah, 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 right? Okay, you guys can go. So my boys go into Fun Factory, and I took I don't know what he was, sergeant, detective, or whatever.
Right.
I took him on the side, and I was like, "Look, man, it's been a year of you guys, like, looking for something. You haven't found anything because we don't do... I mean, I work with students staying straight. I work with all these organizations trying to teach kids there's something better than being on the drugs.
Right.
There's something better. There's a better high. It's more fun and stuff like that. You guys keep beating me up for what? You know? And not mean they never beat me up. I didn't mean that. Harassing me.
Not literally.
just harassing
me. Mentally.
And he looked at me like just confused. Like he doesn't understand why I'm having this intelligent conversation with him.
Right.
And he goes, "Well, I just figured you guys spray painted all over your van and you guys are just... this reckless disregard. We figured you guys were, And I'm like, no.
In fact, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's another thing that I want to commend you on is your school thing when you go to the schools. And everybody, if you don't know, DJ Blast is probably more popular amongst the kids than he is amongst the adults.
I don't know about that, but yes, you talk about the Championship of School Spirit.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a really fun. That's another idea that you have the idea, and all those years of experience, all those failures that we've had along the way, where things just didn't come out the way we wanted to. It applies to future projects. So Championship of School Spirit was one of those projects. From on the page to doing it, it was better than I had expected it to be.
Wow.
It was so awesome and so much fun, and I hope it continues after I leave the island. I hope it continues. With Hev Be Wild, and he was the host of Championship School Spirit. And I haven't told anybody this, but I left the Championship of School Spirit belt, the championship belt. I left it with Hev, so he can use it to do more Championship of School Spirit events.
Yes.
But basically, we went to the schools, played really loud music, do what we do.
Right.
And the kids would come out into the gym, and we would put them through some challenges and score them. The most spirit that they showed us, the more points they get.
Yep.
And the school with the most amount of points at the end of the 3-month challenge period, when we go visit all the high schools, wins this championship belt that I made. It's like a pro wrestling belt. It says Championship of School Spirit. It has Molokai, Lanai, and Maui on the belt. And because we include Maui County. And we give the belt to the school that wins, and they display it in their trophy case.
Okay, so what belt looks nicer? The one that you gave to them for that the school spirit challenge, or the one that you gave to your wife on her birthday?
Okay, that was Christmas, and that was the WWE Women's Championship.
And I could see your face. Give me that to her. Going,
You see, you know me already. You really want to talk about
No,
that?
no. I just wanted to just say that.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
That's one of the more embarrassing moments in my marriage, ladies and gentlemen. And on to the next question.
Yeah. But so the Battle of the Schools.
Yeah.
You're handing the belt to him so
Yeah.
he can continue this.
He can continue the championship of school spirit.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Man. That's.
It's a fun project. It's great for the faculty. It's great for the kids. It's great for everybody. And it's a high energy. It's a 20-minute program. And we're in there and we're gone just as fast. And I think it's a lot of fun. And I have gotten great feedback over the years from teachers and faculty telling me that the kids are more involved in student spirit, student government, spirit activities, things like that, after we do Championship of School Spirit with them. So it really kind of connects everybody. And we do have the teachers come out and do things as well, because they're a part of the the school and the spirit. So teachers, including all of the maintenance people, custodians and things, that we encourage everyone to participate, because everyone's part of that school spirit energy. You know what I mean? It's not like teachers versus students and
versus principal.
It's everybody together. And we've had some memorable moments with principals doing most outrageous things ever. We had the principal from Hana one year drive his golf cart into the gym and get off the golf cart and start dancing in front of everybody.
Wow.
And and they told me afterwards that the relationship between the principal and the kids after that was so much better because they saw him having a good time and not just as an authority figure. So those are the kinds of projects I like doing that kind of make we leave with the place being better than it was before.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Nice. And that happens wherever you go, man. Charlie's,
I love
Casanova's back in the day.
Casanova's,
yeah, and your other, areas that
Hoppers.
You go. Hoppers. That little box. I forget the name of that place that you're gigging at, Kid Creole.
Ambrosia.
Right?
I love Ambrosia. You get 20 people at Ambrosia, you got a party.
Right.
It's so tiny.
It's a packed house with 15.
It's a packed house, man.
Right. Okay, so before we get into those those gigs, I just wanted to bring up you used to be on the radio, and for everyone out there, he used to be a voice on 105.5. And he was with a bunch of other guys. You guys had a good team going.
Well,
I love that show.
We had a couple of shows. You talking about the Morning Woody?
The Morning Woody.
All right, the Morning Woody.
Yes.
Yeah, that was with Hev.
Yeah.
And Thomas, and we had Portia with us. She played Vivi Gunn, and she answered the phones, and and that was basically an exercise in improvisation. Because we had no budget.
That was pre-podcast on a radio.
On the radio, yeah. So we winged it, man. Every morning we were just winging it for 3 hours. We had no budget. We had no script. We had no service supplying us with news or anything like that. So we'd flip through like the newspaper quickly, between song, when songs are playing. And come up. We had a few bits that we would repeat. But for the most part, we winged that entire show. So it was like this. It was like improvisational comedy, improvisational jazz, the whole thing. It was really fun. I learned a lot about radio. I'd done radio on and off before that at different places. The first time I did radio was probably in '89, and this guy invited me to come and do his radio station in Lahaina. I forgot what the call letters were.
Was that the one overlooking Lahaina town?
It was actually. It was over. No, I know the one you're talking about. That wasn't it. It was over tucked by where Denny's was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Underneath.
Right. Was that in the? Was that in the back by where Subway and all that?
Sort of, yeah. So he invited me to come and help him do American Top 40, which is just playing, Casey Kasem doing American Top 40.
Casey Kasem.
So I showed up and he was there and he was drunk, and it was 7 a.m. and I had a gig the night before.
Right.
His gig never stopped. He was still drunk.
Whoa.
And when I walked in the studio, he was completely out of it.
Whoa.
And so my first radio experience, sitting in the chair in front of the board with the commercial with those carts, those big plastic 8-track carts that you would just stick them in and play the commercial. And there were carts everywhere, and there was a list of what commercial to play at what break, and then the American Top 40 was on a record. And so when it got down to the end, I had to play the commercial, flip the record over, American Top 40, to play again, right?
Wow.
So this is my first time in a radio station. My first time operating this kind of equipment. I've played on records since I was 11.
Yeah.
But this is the first time in a radio station where it's live on the air and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, here's the station, and those are the commercials, and here's the script, and he went to sleep. So I did the next 4 hours
By yourself.
by myself,
Again, winging it.
winging it,
Oh, man.
not knowing a thing. I walked out of there, I was sweating bricks,
Right.
you know, and I was like shaking, like, oh my God, like I can't believe I got through that,
Wow.
right? And he didn't even wake up for me to leave. I just like locked the door behind me and left.
That's the story of your life, though.
Isn't it? Like,
you tend to be winging it everywhere. and speaking of winging it, I can't believe you're gonna bail.
I'm leaving.
And
I'm leaving.
once again, ladies and gentlemen, he's walking up to that cliff.
I'm walking up to the cliff.
And he's gonna take that leap of faith.
A friend of mine, I was having lunch with a friend of mine, and I told him, you know, it's the equivalent of jumping out of a plane without a parachute, and everyone saying, "Hey, man, don't worry, it's a soft landing down here."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
That's the equivalent how I feel. And he looked at me, straight face, without even skipping a beat, and he goes, "Bro, the plane is on the ground. It already made the soft landing. All you gotta do is walk down the stairs.
Walk out of the plane."
That's all you gotta do, bro.
That's
and I'm just
cool.
like, I like that better.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm moving to New York. I've never been to New York. At the moment that this podcast comes out, I've never been to New York. And I'm going to try to do the next 30 years of my career. I'm going to do the next 30 years of my career DJing. I want to produce music. I want to travel the world. I want to do all these things that I can't facilitate from here, from Maui.
Right.
I've tried. I can't. I got to be on the East Coast.
Yes.
And New York has been my mecca. What got me into all of this at the beginning, when I was 10, I heard Planet Rock for the first time.
All right.
And I wasn't really into music all that much. I bought records. I liked music.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really understand. My family was not musical. It wasn't like I grew up with my uncle who played this and, you know, nothing. Zero music. I was the only music person in a world of no music people.
Right.
And I was into rock. I listened to Queen. I listened to this, you know, stuff like that. And then when I first heard Planet Rock, it sounded like Kikaida was doing a kick through the speaker into my face.
Wow, that's awesome.
It sounded like a Star Wars, like the X-wing was coming out of the speaker and like blasting me with lasers.
Wow.
It sounded like a science fiction movie all crammed into a song.
Mm-hmm.
With robot voices and drum machine beats. I've never heard a drum machine up until that point.
Right.
And I didn't know it was the beginning of hip hop. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it was literally, you know, this is 80, 81. Hip hop was not a thing.
Nope.
And there were no rules. It wasn't like it's a black thing, it's a white thing. It's nothing. It was at everybody. It was a worldwide.
Exactly. Again, I was mentioning it earlier on an earlier podcast. How MTV used to be basically white European.
Well, in America, they played a lot of rock stuff.
A lot of rock stuff in the beginning.
Yeah.
They had David Bowie. They had
Wham. When Michael Jackson was the first black artist they played on MTV, it was like,
I know. And then Run DMC broke that barrier.
Oh, that wasn't until years later. But they already had Prince on, and
Prince.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson.
But the only reason hip hop got on MTV with Run DMC was the first hip hop video to be played on MTV. The only reason that Run DMC, because they did the song with Aerosmith.
Yes,
that's it, man.
Yep.
And so I don't know what they were thinking, that the demographic was going to be all white America or whatnot.
Right.
But for people who were really into music like myself, MTV was a disappointment.
Yeah.
Because it was like, this isn't the music I listen to.
Yeah.
This isn't a representation of what I listen to. Anyway, so when I heard Planet Rock, I thought to myself, whatever this is, because I don't know what this is. Mm-hmm. I can't call it rock. I can't call it jazz. I can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like it defied every expectation. Mm-hmm. But I remember standing in front of the stereo and I'm thinking to myself when I'm listening to it, whatever this is, I need to be a part of it. And I just thought to myself, my 10-year-old self, whatever this is, I need to be a part of it. You know, and from that moment on, it was piecing together old spare parts to make turntables, to make mixes and things like that. And I would just record myself mixing after school, do my homework and mix. And then I'd record myself mixing, and then I'd listen to it back, and I go, ooh, that was terrible. And then I knew what I did. Okay, don't do that again. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that sounded great. Do more of that, you know? And I just kind of taught myself how to do that with tapes. So by the time my 8th grade banquet rolled around, I had recorded a whole set of music on side A and side B of the cassette, took my boombox, and played my 8th grade banquet with my boombox on the tapes that I recorded in my bedroom.
Wow.
So it was my first kind of gig.
Right.
Because I didn't have speakers to take out with me and stuff, so I just played my mixtapes in the boombox. Before that, I used to make just mixes of like music that people would pop and lock and break dance to.
Yeah.
And then we'd go to Kahumanu.
Right.
And I'd take my big ass boom. It was a big boombox. And I'd ride my bike, carrying the boombox, go to Kahumanu, and I'd sit on the stage in the middle of Kahumanu with my stereo. And I had some friends that were poppers and breakers. So I couldn't do it very well. But I would just sit there, and I didn't want to dance. What I wanted to do was to wait for another crew to come walking by with their little tiny boombox and beat the snot out of them. And so everybody at the time, I remember this clear as day. Like, I had my mixes, man. That was 45 minutes of nonstop music, and it was
on a cassette tape.
Yeah. And it was great music that I was mixing. The guys could be breaking for 45 minutes to. Nobody had that foresight, so everybody was like Zap 2 in the deck, right? And so when Do Wah Diddy was playing, they'd be all popping and stuff, and I just wait 3 minutes because the song's about to fade out. Boom, hit mine, that's it. Ain't no fades going on here, man.
45 minutes of just straight dancing.
Boom, straight
Can you keep up?
Dance floor destruction, and my box was louder than theirs. I just keep cranking it up. And they'd be waiting for my song to end, and I'm sitting there, no, it ain't gonna end, man.
They're running out of dance moves before your tape ran out of songs.
It was fun. That was my first kind of showbiz stuff where I was just kind of, I wouldn't say like a jerk, but I'm real old school, like, follow that.
Yeah.
Like, that's my mentality. Like, follow that. Like, not to be a dick, but just kind of like, I'm bringing my A game, dog. Like, if you're going to come up.
Yeah, step up.
Don't bring your C or D game because you're going to lose, man. I'm bringing my A game.
Yes.
And I want someone to kick my ass. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I want someone to kick, because when someone kicks my ass, then I'm like,
you're blown away.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
then I got to go back to the lab and
right.
tweak stuff, and it's like, I hope I see that guy again, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then it brings your game up. And if you don't have somebody like that, where everybody's just kind of like, and okay with being mediocre, then
that's where you're stuck at.
You're stuck at that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that was my challenge, not only to myself, but to anybody else. Like, okay, hey man, the idiot with the giant boombox, you better keep stepping, or else it's on.
Or I'm pressing this play button.
I'm pressing this play button.
You're not gonna make me press this play button.
You're not gonna like it.
Oh, the old cassette tapes. I talk about that as well. Listening to songs on the radio and trying to record it on the radio, but it doesn't sound the same because you always miss the intro or the ending.
Ladies and gentlemen, the brand new Prince song coming to you.
Exactly.
And then the trick with radio is that you have to stop talking right before they start singing.
So you missed the whole musical intro.
Yeah, but that's what the intro's for. It's for the radio DJ to intro the song. So the longer your intro, the more they're going to talk about you.
Right.
So you want to have that long intro so they talk about you and your album and how great it is before you start singing.
The funny thing is, though, when you're recording the songs, you're listening to it, it's always choppy because of that. Because you're trying to chop off the DJ's
Yeah, because
talking.
you're supposed to go to the store and buy the damn record.
Right. I know, exactly. And so when my friend would play the song that he bought from quote-unquote Woolworths, he'd play the song and I'd be like, oh, that's how it starts off. Wow, that's awesome. Blown away.
That's great.
Hey, yeah. So another thing, too, that when we're talking about you mixing your music, the whole goal is to transition to the next song with no breaks and no skips, so you don't really notice it.
Yeah. It's completely subconscious.
So give me off the top of it, if you can.
Yeah.
Like a mixture of artists. Like if you could go from like Prince, who would go with Prince? Like how would you know?
Oh, it depends upon what song.
So you just gotta listen to music and just feel where.
There's DJs that come up that ask me for advice and things like that. And one of the big things I tell them is you got to know your music.
Right.
Like how it begins, how it is in the middle, how it ends. You got to know your music. Once you know your music, back to front, you know where to mix out, you know where to mix in, you know what songs will go with another without even hearing them. So when you know your music, you can't go wrong. It goes with it's not just tempo, because you know mixing a song that's almost the same tempo is where you want to be, and you want to gradually increase tempo as the night goes on. So without people knowing, you start them at like 90 BPMs. Or nowadays, it's like 70 BPMs. So a BPM's a beat per minute. Oh. Right? And so things are so slow.
Even the rappers are slow. I know.
So I've got ballads that are like, like
Faster than
90
it.
BPMs. Meanwhile, Cardi B is at 60 BPMs, and
know.
I'm like, oh my god. But anyway, everyone when they dance to the 60 and 70 BPM songs, they're dancing at 140 and 120 BPMs. They're bouncing the double tempo.
Double, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So it's my job as a DJ to subliminally take you on this ride where the tempo is changing gradually, so that at the end of the hour or so, you've gone from 70 BPMs to 130, and you didn't even know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's more than just tempo. It's the vibe. It's the feel. It's the organic nature of the song. How was the vocals? How was the bass line? How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel positive? Does it make you feel negative? How do we go about this? Because a lot of times there are songs that become popular, but the lyrics are very negative. And then when you play them, the dance floor reacts negatively to it, right? They, you see guys blustering up, and you feel like there's a fight about the brew and things like that. But I have to play it because it's popular. So you want to kind of go from a positive song to that negative song, back to another positive song, so that you don't give them a chance to hurt anybody.
Right. They can get the rush, and then calm them down.
Yeah, and calm them down.
Bring them up, and then go home. Time to go. This is the last song.
So yeah, that's my job, is to kind of do that subliminally so that no one notices. I mean, at the end of the night, I've been doing this for 31 years. No one really comes to me at the end of the night and is like, boy, your mixes were tremendous. Your timing was spot on.
Yeah, right.
It's just, oh man, your music's amazing.
Yeah, it's one whole.
It's one whole piece, along with the light show. Light shows have been really a big deal for me.
Right.
And so I always tell my light guys, this thing's subliminal. Ain't nobody gonna be like, you're the best at lights.
Right.
No, they're not supposed to notice that.
Yeah.
It's all part of it.
Right.
So a lot of what we do is subliminal, is psychological, is manipulating an audience in a positive way to get them happy, to get them sad, to get them laughing, to get them smiling, singing, jumping, squatting down, popping up. It's a show, but the audience is the show. Without them knowing that they're the show.
Part of the show.
Right, yeah. Because I'm only as good as my audience.
Yeah.
Right? And if
no one's not dancing.
If people suck and they don't want to dance, I'm just standing there playing music and people are looking at me like, and I'm like, hey,
come on.
This is the show, man.
Yeah. Don't look at me because I'm not dancing.
I'm not taking my clothes off or anything, folks. This is the show. And there are nights where people just come out to chill and, but I just do my thing. And
which is a good thing,
try to entertain them. You know what I mean? If I get like a head bobbing in the back of the room, I might win.
There you go. Right. And so you're doing Charlie's?
Yeah.
And what the countdown though? There's a countdown, right?
Right. At this point, I am at 4 weeks away from leaving. So I've got one more 90s night. I've got a Vinyl Frontier coming up, which is a night I do with other fellow DJs where we dig through our personal collections of records and play nothing but vinyl.
Okay.
No computers, all just real records.
Wow,
Yeah.
Old school.
So
So do you guys bring back the language too? Because I know when we text each other,
yes,
I laugh up because you know what I'm saying, right? Because you're like old school, like back in the days we said yo and radical, and so I respond back to you that way. I'm like, you're like yo, and I'm like, hey, that's rad.
Yeah, all I have to do is ping you, right? Like I need to talk to you, so I'm just ping you, right? Why type a bunch of stuff? I just go, yo, easy.
Yeah.
And if I agree, I don't go, I confer,
Right.
I just
Sweet.
go, I just go word.
Done. Word. I know.
Done.
I know. I'm like word. I'm like, hey, rad. Old school language.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, it's like they'll do whatever. I mean, Skinny Guy is notorious for actually buying new records when we do Vinyl Frontier.
Oh, wow.
So we're all kind of playing our older records, and then he'll pull out like a brand new song and like look at us and laugh and stuff like, you son of a.
You're going against the grain.
You can still buy new stuff on vinyl and stuff.
Wow.
And so he'll and he's probably doing that again for this year just to stick it to us and stuff.
Right.
I mean, I got a Toy Story picture disc with Woody and Buzz on it. The picture is on the record, and it's like Woody's Roundup, and I put a breakbeat behind it for 1 year and stuff.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
I played Fit Yanagi 1 year off of Poi Dog.
Oh,
Put a breakbeat behind that.
Yeah.
But
You
yeah,
know?
there's a couple of gigs I got left before I go,
Mhm.
and then hopefully I can come back once in a while, maybe do a special event or
Oh
something.
heck yes! Or even you be the one performing at the Mac, and you'll have someone opening for you.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can.
That's a good. That would be a
I don't
good
know if
thing.
I can sell out the Mac. I don't know,
I
man.
think you could. I think you could. And you know, Maui would want you to come back because I think the impact that you're gonna do in New York, we're gonna be like, he's from here. Hey, DJ Blast is from here, man.
Well, I'm always gonna be DJ Blast Maui, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, Chilltown is. I'm always riding with Chilltown, so you know, it's one of those things where I want to make you guys proud. You know, I want to, you know, you guys have my back, so it's time for me to stop playing college ball and start playing pro ball.
Yep.
You know what I
There
mean?
you go.
And it's a crazy endeavor, and it's a huge move, and I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that you know I think I got the skills to pay the bills, and I could do the job. Put me anywhere in the world, I could do the job. And now it's going from me kicking doors down and making opportunities and creating ideas to people giving me the opportunity to present those ideas now.
Wow.
So if people can give me the opportunity, it's my manager's job, right?
Uh-huh.
So if people give me that opportunity, now I'm ready to like be creative and do, you know, crazy things, you know,
And just focus 100% into what you're
being creative, you know.
Right.
So I've got a checklist of things that I really want to do, places I want to play. One of them is I want to do a Prince tribute night in Minneapolis or New York,
Oh.
you know, Prince tribute.
Huge.
Oh,
It's gonna be
gosh.
huge.
I want to do that. I want to play in London. For me, music from after Planet Rock, it was always London, New York for me. Whereas everybody else here in Hawaii, it's California, where the influence came from. That West Coast funk, Zap, Midnight Star. That's where everybody was digging. I was in New York frame of mind my entire career. I listened to tapes that DJs would mix in New York, and that's where I was like, that's the style I want to play. That's the style I want to use on the mic. I'm a New York person, having never been to New York, but that's my main influence. And the New York-London bridge of music is so interesting to listen to, especially in that late 70s, early 80s, throughout that time. It's so interesting to listen to New York come out with a sound. London, it blows up in London, and then the London artists start copying that sound.
And then change it.
Because they're coming from a London perspective.
Right.
And I go, that's amazing, that London perspective. Then that blows up in New York and influences all these other groups. And that blows up in New York, goes to London, blows up, and it influences more groups, and on and on. I'll give you a perfect example. ABC. Not another bad creation. ABC, the group from London. Be Near Me, Poison Arrow, right? They're kind of like three-piece suit wearing, and they harmonize, and it's like just dope, like real classy, kind of post-disco, kind of classy music, right?
Right.
Influenced by Smokey Robinson and the Motown sound.
Oh yeah.
Yes, very good.
Right,
ABC.
yeah.
So that was a tribute, right? But all their sound was influenced by Motown. So that's what Motown sounds like through a London filter.
Wow, that's a good way.
And you go, oh my God, that's amazing.
Right.
And now you listen to early MCs that were rapping in England at the time. Rebel MC, We Papa Girls, Cookie Crew, all these early groups that ain't nobody ever heard of.
Right.
Influenced by New York rap, but through that London filter with that London slang. And it's like...
Change the whole thing, right?
What the...
Yeah.
It was so amazing. So London's been a huge influence on me just as much as New York.
Oh, wow.
And so I have friends in London that have heard me play and, you know, heard the way I mix and everything. And they're like, get your ass to London, man. I'm just like, yes.
And you're coming from Hawaii.
And I'm coming from
a whole
Hawaii.
different angle.
No, I've had people like think I'm from New York by the way I play. I've had people like that, my friends from London, going, your sound is international. It's too big for here. You need to be in London. You need to be in New York. Like, telling me these things. And these are people who have gone to hear, like, the world-class DJs of the time. You know, they've seen, you know, Fatboy Slim. They've seen Stanton Warriors. They've seen all these guys play. And they're telling me, hey, man, you got what it takes.
Wow.
And they got no reason to
What a
lie to me.
compliment.
Yeah, you know, it's super compliment.
That is.
One of the best compliments I had lately was the Crystal Method show.
Yeah.
And I got to meet him really fast at the beginning. He came late. It was you know, hey, man. You know,
That was at the Mac.
That was at the Mac. Yeah. And so I got 3 days to prepare for that show. And so I put this set together that I wanted to, when I normally play, I'm improvising. I'm reading off the audience. Oh, let me get those people up. I know they're going to want to hear that. Boom, I drop that. They're going to want to hear that, drop that. And I'm improvising all night. In a show like the Crystal Method show, when I opened up, I have 1 hour.
Mm.
So I can stand there and improvise, or I can put together a set that tells a story. Now, this is a completely different skill set where I could tell a story in an hour with music. So this was interesting to me to do, and I've done a couple. I've opened up for Z Trip and told stories like that, where
through the music.
Like
you can go through a time warp. You can.
Yeah, I can do,
anything,
and I can say,
anything.
and I'll tell you what I did. So,
Okay.
I came up with this hour. I put 100 songs into a folder, and then I just kind of whittled away until I got my story just right. And it's one of those things where a lot of stuff I do for me, and I don't expect other people to hear my story or understand what I'm saying. That's cool. Just dance, man. Just dance. That's cool, right? And I put together this story, and I kept it for my wife. And she's like, I want to hear what are you playing? Show me your set. And I'm like, no, I want you to hear it for the first time. I want you to feel it, right? Mm-hmm. When I played that Crystal Method show, she was in tears because she knew the story I was telling.
Wow.
And a couple other people later on came to tell me that this is the exact. I didn't say anything online or on the mic. Mm-hmm. I'm telling a story.
Right.
Nothing. And people are coming up to me going, I love the story you told.
Wow.
And I'm just like, what?
This is only for me, not for all.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
so I start the set with kind of early electro. So I'm playing electro stuff from the early 80s, Planet Rock kind of stuff, right? And that's the beginning of my story. And then I go on and stuff like that. So when I get to the end of my set, there are 3 songs I ended with. And one of them, the lyrics were I've always been here for you. And now it's, I'm going to take you back from the beginning. And now, this is my future. But no matter what happens, I'm always going to be here for you. And those are the lyrics. Wow. And so I got my hands up, I'm pointing to people and stuff. And people are looking at me like they get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The song after that I played, it's called Spoken Word from Chase and Status. And in the song, the guy's he's kind of rapping, but it's not to the beat, it's spoken word, right? And so he says stuff like, being strong is the exact same thing as being weak. The only difference is that you don't quit. And he goes, you gotta go for it. Don't wait for it, because you got a destiny with your name on it. And then it goes to the chorus, and this girl singing, everybody's free, right? It's just really hands in the air. That's how I wanted to end the set.
Yeah.
So when I got there, before I did my set, I brought my logo, my DJ Blast logo. I gave it to the video guys to put up on the screen behind me, put my name up on the screen. So when I had put together the story, I thought, when I get to this spoken word song, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to point to the screen, and hopefully my name will be up, because they got squiggly lines. Hope my name is up on that screen, right? So I turned around in that moment, right? Go for it. You can't wait for it. And I turned around, and I pointed to the screen, and the guy goes to the screen. And I got my back to everybody, because you got a destiny with your name on it. I pointed to the screen, right?
Boom.
Huge pop coming up from behind me. And I'm just like, oh my, I got chills just thinking about it right now, right? And so this gets better. So I point to the screen, and I'm looking at the screen going, they got my name up. My name worked, yay! And everyone's screaming. They understand what I was saying. I turn back around, right? I go to play my third last song, which is more of an instrumental, orchestral, so Crystal Method could mix in.
Prepare,
right. So I play that. I go on the mic. Who's ready for Crystal Method? And everybody's like, yay! And I was like, I'm DJ Blast. Thank you, everybody. I do my henshin. First position. Yay! Second position. Yay! Third position. Yeah! Do my fists together. Yeah! Everybody's screaming. I'm thinking to myself, this is the most amazing thing ever. I got chicken skin just talking about it. And I'm like, now's the time for me to make my exit and get the hell off the stage, because this isn't my show, right? And I'm thinking to myself, one or two things could happen. The guy with Crystal Method could be so angry with me because I'm like, I don't want to, you know what I mean? Right. Or he's going to be really cool, you know, because again, my mindset, hey man, kick my ass.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey,
kick my ass.
This is what I got.
Right. This is what I got. And if I was to do anything less in that position, it would be disrespectful to the Crystal Method.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But then I don't know the guy. So I don't know if he's going to be offended, trying to think that I'm trying to upstage him, which I wasn't. I was just trying to do my best. I'm representing, man. I'm bringing the A game. So I make my quick exit, and I duck out, and I feel somebody grab my arm and spin me around, and it's him. He was behind me the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Spins me around in front of everybody. We're dead center with the decks, right?
Yeah.
On the stage, and everyone's looking at us. Spins me around, holds his arms out, pulls me in for a hug.
Wow.
And while he's hugging, and I met him for like 3 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
Hugs me and tells me in my ear, he was like, "That was freaking amazing."
Wow.
And then releases the hug and he bows.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, bro, and I'm looking at everybody like, this is not happening right
What's
now.
the pose?
I was looking at everybody like, no, he's not. And I was like pointing to him like, no, that's the man, that's the man. And I kind of, so I make my exit off of the stage. My wife's waiting for me backstage. She's in tears. Wow. She was like, that's amazing.
That's
People
cool.
are running up to me and, I'm not a hugger a lot, Everyone's hugging me because the guy from Crystal Method just hugged me.
Yeah.
So it was like this real positive, interaction from it and everything. And I see the guy from Crystal Method at the end of the show, Scott. So I see him at the end of the show, and he looks at me, and he's smiling, and he's pointing at me, and he goes, "You," and I'm just like, "Hey, man," and he's like, "Your set was so like feel good, super happy, hands in the air.
Yeah.
I had to change my whole set, and I had to go really dark, man, because you made it so happy. I had to go really dark, man." And I looked at him.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I would have done the same thing if somebody opened, right? And so I looked at him and I was like, "Bro, I'm so sorry." He's like, "No, thank you."
Right, because that makes his show better.
It changed what he would normally,
right, right,
and challenged him and stuff. And I thought his set was phenomenal.
Wow.
I thought it was great. But
to be complimented by this guy is...
He had no reason to do that.
Right.
Why? I'm just some yokel on the middle of the Pacific.
For his show.
Who cares, right?
Yeah.
But why did he give me love in front of everybody? And to make even...
He felt it.
Yeah, he felt it, right? And to make it even crazier, that moment where I turned around and pointed to my name, he was on his Instagram live filming me from backstage.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Then he gives the phone to film his first couple minutes of his set to our friend Brendan, and Brendan goes to the front of the stage. So on his Instagram live, caught me doing my henshin pose and caught the hug.
Right.
All on his Instagram with his fans, like, throwing up hearts and things like that. Yeah. And I'm just like, and my name's still on the screen.
Nice.
And
it's just like the Blast show.
I'm just like, what the, why? What?
This is your future, see? That's what's going to happen, man.
And it really, and any doubts that because I'm my worst critic. Mm-hmm. Any doubts that I might have had where I'm like, can I really do it on the big stage? Can I really get out there and do those 20,000 people big shows, doing a 1-hour set? Because I like playing 4 hours. I like being able to tell that big, long story. I hardly have people open up for me or anything. I just like telling that 4-hour story. Yeah. But cramming it, making these 1-hour stories is something I want to get better at. Mm-hmm. And knowing that I was able to do it where I was happy with the set. I mean, everyone could have hated it.
With 3 days.
With 3 days of prep.
3 days. You see, that's the key.
3 days of prep.
Right there, brother. Not 3 months, not 3 weeks, 3 days.
But I wasn't like, oh, this is the best I can do in 3 days. Like, I was super happy with the set. Super happy. And the fact that that Scott from Crystal Method dug it. The people dug it. It was so cool. And it was that last little piece of whatever interpretation I might have had about trying to do this jump.
That final leap, yeah.
That final leap. It was like the universe telling me, man, you got this. And if anyone wants to hear the set that I just made sound incredible,
yes.
You can go to my Mixcloud at DJ Blast Maui, and I put new mixes up every Thursday on Mixcloud, and that entire opening set for Crystal Method is on my Mixcloud. And it's the opening set for Crystal Method.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Fun stuff, man.
Yeah, okay. And going to New York.
Yeah.
I know before that you met several idols.
Yes.
Kid Creole, because we mentioned him earlier, and I just want to get back into that.
He's so amazing.
Kid Creole
and the Coconuts.
It was one of your idols, and you actually got to work for him.
I got to work for him, and I recorded a song with him.
Wow.
In my studio, which was amazing.
Yeah,
It's amazing, and he's a friend of mine. It's so crazy. He'll email me, and I'll email him back, and we're friends. It's like I'm friends with Kid Creole from the Coconuts, man. I was like, what? Like, and he's such a cool guy, man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's one of those cats that I want to be like in show business.
Right.
He would tell me there's on these festivals, these big 80s festivals, right? With like, 50 acts.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come up to his trailer and be like, oh man, we cut your 45 minutes into 10 minutes. And he's like, cool. And I'm like, how can you be cool with that, man? Like, you travel across the world to go do this festival, they're giving you 10 minutes on stage. And he goes, man, the money's the same, man. And I'm like, and then I'm back in my air conditioned trailer, man. And I'm just like, because me, I would be like, no, you're not touching my time, man. But he's so
I've prepped for this for 3
Yes.
days.
Yeah, he's so chill about it, I just got to meet St. Paul, lead singer of The Family, which was a Prince splinter group from 1986.
Yes.
The group that originally sang Nothing Compares to You, which I still think is their superior version of the song.
And compared to Sinead O'Connor.
Oh, forget Sinead O'Connor. Forget Sinead O'Connor, man. That was a robot could have done that song with more emotion than Sinead O'Connor.
But Prince and.
But I got to meet him, St. Paul, and he was the keyboard player for The Time.
Yeah.
And then he became the lead singer of their own splinter
I
group.
love
The
this
Family.
story. I love this story.
You want me to tell the story?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So I'm at Charlie's about to play, and one of the bartenders comes over to me and he goes, "Hey, you know Paul Peterson?" And the only Paul Peterson I know in my music mind is the lead singer of The Family.
Yes.
Why would the bartender be talking to me about a splinter group that ain't nobody ever heard of before?
Right. Unless he's really there.
And I'm thinking Paul Peterson, is he a construction worker? Is he, is
that's with the same name.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, man, I don't know Paul Peterson. And I'm thinking to myself, like, does he want to meet me or something?
Man, I don't know Paul
I don't know who Paul Peterson
I know
is.
who Paul Peterson is.
And I'm thinking to myself,
yeah.
St. Paul is not in Paia tonight. There's no way. Winds up, it was. And I missed him. He had walked out before I could meet him. And his band that he had formed, I guess they visit Maui all the time. He knows the owner of Charlie's. And when I approached the owner of Charlie's, I'm like, you know St. Paul? And he's like, oh, I've known him for years.
Wow.
And I'm like, you couldn't say anything to me, man? Like, what the hell? As many Prince tributes I've done here in Charlie's,
You're like Wayne's World. I'm not worthy.
I just happen to know St. Paul.
Right,
like, you know what I mean?
right.
He just laughed. But anyway, their band, his brother, they were going to play rock and jazz,
Yes.
on a Thursday night. So I know everybody there. So I told the sound man, when is the sound check on Thursday? He's like, around 2:00. I'm like, I'll be here. Take my family record, put it in a case,
Yes.
go down to Charlie's. I sit at the bar and I'm just chilling.
I love it.
And then the workers are coming up to me and they go, they said that you were going to be here. Is Paul really a big deal? And I'm like, he's a big deal, man.
No,
Oh my
man.
God, it's St. Paul.
Right.
And everyone's looking at me like, it's just Paul, man. He comes here all the time, So
No.
he comes in with his guitar out through the back door to do sound check, and I'm sitting there like freaking out, right? Because this freaking St. Paul's right in front of me. And everybody's all like, hey, Paul, blah, blah, blah. And they're just hanging out, So he goes to the bar, orders his food. So I'm like, okay, I got my window while they're prepping his lunch.
Yes.
So I walk over and I'm like, excuse me, Paul, do you have a minute? And he's like, sure. And I was like, I just want to tell you that Family's album was incredible. 1986, one of those albums that changes my life, changes my DNA. First time Prince did a jazz funk fusion. This is before Kiss. So it's his first jazz funk fusion.
Wow.
First time Prince used real orchestral strings in his compositions. Wow. That was on The Family. And I'm like, the album is incredible. I played songs from that album in 86, 87, 88, 89. Sinead O'Connor's version, Nothing Compares to You, drops. I take the record, I take it back out with me. I play the Family's version. I never play Sinead O'Connor's version, right?
Right.
So he's looking at me like I have just come down from outer space.
Right.
And
Who are you?
Who are you and why are you talking to me about The Family?
Yeah, right. Here on Maui.
On Maui, right. So I'm telling him, man, I just said, and it's the same thing I told Africa Bambaataa, the guy who did Planet Rock, when I met him.
I can't believe you got to meet him.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
I told him the same thing. I said, listen, man, the noise you guys made in Minneapolis in 1986, a little kid heard on Maui, and it changed my DNA. I'm just telling you, bro. It changed my DNA. I'm a hip-hop kid, but I like everything. And when I heard The Family's album, it changed my DNA, bro.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still listen to The Family album. To this day. It's still on my phone right now.
Yeah.
The whole album. I don't listen to cuts.
Right.
I never listen to cuts. I always listen to the entire album. I just listened to Jam on Revenge, the Nucleus album, just the other day. You Jam on it?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I listen to the whole album. I don't listen to Jam on it. I listen to the whole damn album. I'm an album person.
Yeah.
So when it's like hey, I'm in the mood for the family.
You're playing the whole album.
The cue track 1, here we go. And I don't stop until the rest of the album's done, right?
Right.
So I told him all this. He's freaking out. He's looking at me, and I was like, bro, can I have you sign my album? It's the original family record that I used to play back in the day. And he was like, I'd be honored to sign it. So I pulled it out. It's a gatefold, so it opens up like a book. And it's got all these pictures of them. And he's looking at the pictures like he hasn't seen the album in years or something. He's looking at it. He's like, wow. And he's like, he points to a picture and then he laughs and he goes, I got more makeup on than Bela Lugosi. And this is
oh my God.
And here's the crazy part of this story. He points to a picture and he goes, oh, we took this picture on the balcony of Prince's house in Minneapolis at 5 a.m. And I'm like, oh, awesome. And he goes, yeah, man, when we were recording the album, we'd be up all night, playing pool, listening to Kid Creole and the Coconuts, and just flipping that record and putting on Kid Creole and the Coconuts. And I'm like, bro. I said, what if I told you that I know Kid Creole? And he looks at me and he starts marking out. He's like, what?
That's awesome.
And I was like, bro, I knew Prince was a fan of Kid Creole and the Coconuts, but I didn't know like that deep. And he was like, oh no, he was a fan of Kid Creole and the Coconuts.
Wow.
Kid Creole and the Coconuts, Kid Creole had the 3 girls, the Coconuts, right? But he also had this kind of a manservant named Cody Mundy that would play the xylophone and dance around, bald guy, Puerto Rican dude, right? And he'd dance around and be kind of a goof, but you know, it was a sidekick, Kid Creole sidekick.
Right.
So the story goes that Prince took Morris Day for the time, and Jerome, and took that concept from Kid Creole and Cody Mundy.
Wow. And so that's how he formed that group.
The Time, right. It was the influence from Kid Creole.
Wow.
And now St. Paul is telling me that they're playing pool, listening to Kid Creole all night. You know, it's just like listening to record the family album.
I got to tell you something. I'm not from outer space. But I know Kid Creole.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, so he signed my record.
Oh my
And then I didn't even ask him for a picture. He gets up and he goes, I need to take a picture with you.
Nice.
And so I take a picture with him and stuff, and then his food came up, so I was like, I'm out, sorry to bother you. And he's like, no. And so I go to walk away, and I hear him tell his brother under his breath as I'm walking away, he goes, that made my year.
Wow.
So,
but he don't realize that made your
oh my God
10 years.
Oh my God, dude. It's so important. And how crazy would it be? Like, I met St. Paul from the family. Right. Like, this is a big deal to me. I didn't have Elvis. I didn't have the Beatles. Our generation wasn't into that. No. Africa Bambaataa is my Elvis. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Prince is my, I don't know, Beatles all rolled up into one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So, and turntables is our guitar. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't pick up a guitar. I picked up turntables. Yeah. Because of Flash. Because of Theodore. You know?
Grandmaster Flash. And the Furious Five.
Dude, Flash is next on my list. I have to meet Flash. Dude.
Oh, I think you will. You're gonna be in his stomping grounds. If backyard.
I can meet Flash, dude, my life will be complete.
Wow.
Because when I heard The Adventures of Grandmaster Flash and the Wheels of Steel,
right,
that another one that changed my DNA because he's mixing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how it's done. Oh my! It was Flash coming down and giving me the blueprint. Here is how you DJ. You know what I mean? For a kid, I grew up in Wai'hea, man. Yeah, everybody's fishing and riding BMX and playing football.
Yes.
And meanwhile, I'm in my room with my headphones on, and Flash is going, here is how you mix. And I'm like, like a mad scientist. And then I go to school the next day and go like, oh my God, I figured out how to scratch on the turntables. And they're like, huh?
What's a scratch?
What? Yeah, man. So,
oh man,
it's that meeting St. Paul was amazing. Meeting Africa Bambaataa and getting to talk with him was truly amazing because he signed my record. I gave him. I put the Planet Rock record that I bought when I was 11, and I put it in front of him, and I looked at Africa Bambaataa and I said, "Listen, because I know I only have seconds."
Right.
So I put the record in front of him and I said, "I just want you to know that from the minute I heard this song, it changed my life." Yeah. And I want you to know that my children are all grown. They're going to college. And I made money to bring them up, to feed them, to give them dreams of their own because of this record.
Wow.
And I've made a career and a life and a legacy for myself because of this record. And I just want to say thank you.
Wow.
And he grabbed the Sharpie and he wrote, "To the great DJ Blast."
Yeah.
And signed his name. And then he shakes my hand. And I know this sounds super corny. My friend's taking the picture and I shake his hand. And for some reason, my thumb was in the right place on his hand. I felt his heartbeat.
Wow.
So I'm shaking his hand and I'm looking at the camera and I'm smiling and I'm hearing the heartbeat of the man who was alive to create Planet Rock that changed my life.
Wow.
And it was so
Woo.
amazing a moment. Again, this means something.
Yes.
Because
Fists together.
the
Fists
gratitude
together.
means something.
Yes.
Because every day it's like, why? It's either I'm living a blessed life, which I feel like I do.
Yeah.
It's either I'm living a blessed life or I'm the luckiest person on the planet. Because I get to do what I love. I get to affect people in a positive way. Play music that I love. I get to perform. I get to be creative and artistic.
Right.
In really cool and different ways. You know, whether it's hosting a radio show and writing bits.
Yeah.
Or going out and putting together a 1-hour story to play to open up for a superstar.
Yeah.
Or playing a 4-hour night with a crowd that I have to kind of, make my own because they don't care that I'm there.
Right.
But at the end of the night, they should be fans of mine or else I didn't do the
I
job.
appreciate that. Hey, this guy was awesome.
Right.
Right.
So it's one of those things where it's like I get to live this life and my kids are all healthy and awesome and pursuing all of their own goals outside of what I do.
So now it's your turn.
And what I didn't expect from this whole process, because I never stopped DJing. When I had kids, a lot of times when people have kids, they go, I gotta give up on my dreams. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I thought to myself, I gotta work harder so I can make more money, so I could not have to get a. People who own their own business work 80 hours a week, so they don't have to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
So
and that's the truth.
But I wanted to do that for my kids so that they could see. If their dad is pursuing their dreams, his dream, that hopefully it would influence them to pursue their dreams.
Yeah.
And so I never stopped. And I wanted them to see me fail. And I failed a lot. And I wanted to see me win. And see that this is a yin and yang. This is a process, man. And every time you fail, I learn. Yeah. And every time I win, I'm grateful. And every time I fail, I learn. And every time I win, I'm grateful. And see this process and see how this works to teach them. Right? Yeah. And so what I didn't expect from this whole process, because my kids are all older, they all live on the mainland, they're all going to college, pursuing their own things, is now my kids are inspiring me to pursue more of my dreams. Yeah. Because they're out there getting theirs, and I'm just like, what's the big goal? What's always from when I was 10 years old and I first heard Planet Rock. Right. And I knew this was from New York. I needed to be in New York. But I built my career. I got my skill set up. Because New York ain't no joke.
No, they'll chew you up and spit you out.
That's right. So I have to
maneuver.
I have to fail enough so that failure is not going to stop me. Yes. I have to get good enough so that I can perform on that level and get respect. And I had to put my kids through school and get them all ready and get them on to their own adulthood before I could even think of that. And now that after we took my youngest son to college, my wife looked at me, and I'll never forget, she looked at me and she goes, okay, 31 years, you're going to retire? And I thought about it for like a quarter of a second. I was like, hell no. Like, I can't. There's still a fire inside of me. Like, there's still a burning, right? There's no way I can retire. And she goes, well, you're going to spend another 30 years here? I'm like, no. Right. And there's only one place.
So she's the one actually pushing you to that edge to jump. Yeah.
She's got my back 100%.
And that's the good part of the wife thing.
She's amazing, man.
They're supportive. They're awesome.
She's the most amazing. And I couldn't do it without her. And I don't want to do it without her. That's the big thing. I don't want to do it without her. It would be no fun for me to go play London unless she was with me in London. It'd be no fun to play Ibiza if she wasn't with me in Ibiza. Yeah, right. You know what I mean?
Because afterwards, who are you going to have dinner with?
Hey, honey, I just played Ibiza. It was amazing. Yeah. No, I want to, you know what I mean? Like, that's the most amazing thing. So, to go full circle where my kids are now inspiring me to take a leap I didn't expect that. My whole focus as a dad, which I love being a dad. My whole focus was like, I got to set them on their path. Whatever they love, I got their back. You know what I mean? My dad did not understand anything. My dad's local, salt of the earth, fish every weekend, go golfing, local brother. He didn't understand a thing that I was doing. Not a thing. He didn't understand why. He didn't understand what the hell was happening. Why is it so loud? My dad told me once I came home from Honolulu, which had the great record stores back in the day.
Jellies?
Oh. I would come home with $1,000 worth of records in a box, and my dad was like, "How much you would spend on those records?"
Yeah.
I was like, $800, $900. He goes, "What are you crazy? You get 1,000 records out outside already. What you need more records for?" It's like, they release new songs every day, right?
It's not the same song on all those records, Dad.
I can't play the same song. I got to get new songs.
Yeah.
And back in those days, no internet. If I didn't have the record, physically
Nothing.
buy the record, I
Nothing.
can't play the song.
Yeah, you have nothing. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and so that's how much he understood. And he came out once to hear me play. My dad came out once to hear me play. Danced before anybody got there.
Yeah, he did?
Yeah, he danced with his girlfriend at the time.
My God.
And my dad has zero rhythm.
Zero.
So he's trying to dance. And then he came up to the booth by himself and stood behind me. There are power amps behind me. There's this big DJ booth that's risen above the floor with glass to get the turntables and video screens and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And the Blue Tropics, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm in this super nice club, and he just stood behind me for like 10 minutes. I did a couple mixes. I turned around, and he said, "We're gonna go." I was like, "Okay, cool. You saw what I did. What do you think?" And he was like, "This is amazing." And he just gave me a hug. But
that is awesome.
Nobody was there.
Yeah.
I said, "You should see when this place is packed."
yeah. Dad, it's not like this every night. It's actually packed.
It's even better when people are having a good time. You sure you don't want to hang around?
You sure you don't want to hang around?
But yeah, he didn't get it, and so I encourage my kids, whatever they're changing their minds or doing this. I want to encourage my kids to do whatever they wanted to do, and so now I'm at the place where my kids are all doing what they want to do. It's all showbiz, but it's behind the scenes showbiz.
Wow.
They're like my son.
Awesome.
My son actually told me once. He was just like, "No, I can't be on stage like you. Like I'm not a big enough jerk to be on stage and want all the attention and stuff. But he's really into lighting. He's always been. He's been doing lights with me since he was 9.
Wow. Yeah.
Doing gigs. And I told him, I was like, it's everybody wants to be the guy with the guitar on stage and everybody singing along with the songs and screaming.
Right.
Everybody wants to be the guy with the guitar.
Right.
It takes somebody really special to want to light the guy with the guitar.
Right.
And that's you.
The techie.
And he just smiled like, "Oh yeah."
Hey.
Like I can use this light and that light. Like he knew.
Right,
You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
They make the show.
Right.
The background guys. Yeah.
The background guys, the behind the scenes.
They make that show. They make him as grand as you.
And it's a lot less getting kicked in the balls when you're working behind the scenes than when you're on stage.
In front of everybody and have to perform.
31 years in this business, I still get kicked in the balls by people,
Right.
But it's showbiz. You know what I mean?
And real quick, one more question.
Yeah.
I know sometimes I just don't understand music and all that. Like what's the difference between hip hop and house?
Nothing.
Thank you. So I don't feel as dumb as I thought I was. Okay, so there's no difference. They're the same thing.
Listen, man. Oh gosh, I don't even know where to start. EDM.
Okay.
Which is, let's talk to the millennials, right? EDM,
Okay.
right? What's the acronym mean? Electronic dance music. Guess what, folks? Everything's electronic dance music.
Right. Unless you're playing a guitar and a drum set.
It's still electronic. They're still recording it electronically and stuff. You know what I mean? Listen. So EDM is what they call electronic, like dance music today.
Right.
In the 90s, it was called electronica.
Oh wow.
Okay. Now, or techno. Okay.
Oh.
Guess what? The people who make the music and love the music didn't call it that. That was old, stuffy white people in the office trying to sell it to teenage girls.
Oh, I see.
So that's where EDM came from. It didn't come from the guys who make the music, or electronica. That didn't come from the people who make the music or in the scene.
Right.
We never called it that. House music is just a general expression for a music with 4 on the floor beat, which is a disco beat.
Get you dancing.
You know what? The thing about the 4 on the floor, and the reason why disco was so big internationally, because the 4 on the floor is like, it's tribal. It's that tempo where it's almost at your heartbeat. It's tribal. And so it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor or how you grew up, what part of the world, you can all relate to 4 on the floor.
Yeah.
It's so relatable. And so house music is a general term for music with 4 on the floor.
Wow.
And so you can do all the subgenres, the hard house, the electro, the trance, but it all shares the 4 on the floor.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So breakbeat is similar, but it doesn't have the 4 on the floor. It has more funky beats. So breakbeat.
Yeah, to match what they're dancing.
Yeah.
The dancing.
Right? That's like Crystal Method is breakbeat.
Okay.
but house music that's the basic thing of four on the floor.
The Chilton van.
Four on the floor, man. Four on the floor. It's your heartbeat. It's literally the BPM of my life.
Yeah.
My
There you go.
BPM of my life was never like that. I hear that and I'm just like, oh my God, it just puts me to sleep because my life is moving like this.
Right.
24. I get up in the morning and my life is moving like this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when I hear house music, it's like that's the rhythm of my life, man.
Right,
That's it,
right.
right there. And that's what Planet Rock was. It was a breakbeat song, but it was at 125 BPM. That's the BPM, man.
Yep.
Get me? That's my heartbeat.
When I first heard Planet Rock,
Mm.
I didn't know how to pop. I didn't know how to break. But when I heard Planet Rock, for some reason,
You could.
I could.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. It's so amazing. So when you look at hip hop, what is hip hop? Okay, What is hip hop? To me, hip hop is not a music. It's not a fashion. It's not the lyrics. Hip hop is everything. It's this lifestyle. It's the music. It's the culture. It's how we act, how we walk. You know, there's a movement called I Am Hip Hop. And that's exactly how I feel. You don't do hip hop. You are hip hop. And I'm hip hop. I'm a hip hop kid. There's no escaping that. Doesn't mean that I can't like Duran Duran.
Oh, yeah.
I love Duran
I
Duran.
love Duran.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you don't have to exclude. And early hip hop DJs, they played Kraftwerk and Blondie and punk rock and all this kind of stuff in the club. There was no like, we can't play that.
Right.
No, they played everything.
Yeah.
They played everything. And that's what influenced me about New York. There was no barriers. We can't play that because no. The New York DJs, they played everything.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me my global taste for music. Where I just listen to it, man, is that going to work? Is that going to work on the dance floor? That's all I care about. Like, is that going to work on the dance floor? How's that feel?
Right.
Does that feel good? How's that going to make the people feel? That's what I think about when I listen to the music and stuff. So when you go hip hop and then you put these walls around hip hop, if anyone ever puts walls around hip hop, they don't understand what hip hop is.
Right.
If they ever do that, because they know that hip hop has its roots in disco. Hip hop has its roots in punk rock.
Wow.
Hip hop has its roots in funk and James Brown.
It's a collaboration.
It has its roots in Motown and doo-wop and everything.
Right.
Everything. And as hip hop goes along, it's influenced by everything else that happens along with it. Electronic music and everything all along. Crystal Method can be traced directly back to Public Enemy. And the way their music was bombastic and loud and just beat the block of cracked cement kind of beats, right?
Yep.
Crystal Method came from that school of thought. And that school of thought came from Africa Bambaataa.
Nice. Yeah. See,
you know what I mean?
All influenced.
You could trace it, but Africa Bambaataa was influenced for Planet Rock. He was influenced by Kraftwerk, an electronic group from Germany.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
But he was playing Kraftwerk records in the Bronx on the block. He was playing Kraftwerk.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who Kraftwerk.
Right,
you know what I mean?
They're from Germany.
Until he took Kraftwerk vibe and put it into Planet Rock, all of a sudden it became this universal sound.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's when you say what is hip hop? Lyrics, beats, stage presence, fashion, attitude, all these things comprise hip hop. And those things influence rock music. They influence electronic music, dance music. It influences everything across the board, to the way that people perform on stage, to the way that they put their music together. And the reason why I say that there's no difference between house music and hip hop is because hip hop was created from nothing. Pawn shop drum machines bought for $20 and messed with until they could create beats.
The sound.
Keyboards, samples from records,
That's what you're doing.
things like that, right? That's where hip hop was born, from nothing. From kids in New York that had no money, no music training, no music in school, nothing.
Yeah,
They created it how they thought it went, and then they just kind of did it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Guess how house music was created? In the late 80s in Chicago, with drum machines and synths from pawn shops, with guys in their bedroom putting it together, creating this whole music, this futuristic version of disco. It's the same ethos. It's the same energy.
Yeah.
It's the same everything that went into house music as went into hip hop. It's kids in the inner city that had nothing and created something from it.
Yeah.
And that house music sound in the late 80s in Chicago moved to England, and they went, oh my God, and then it went back to Chicago, and they went, oh my God, and it hit New York on the way, and that's how house music began.
Nice.
But again, it's all just all these kids just kind of putting these things together. How does this thing work? I don't know. Turn it on.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
What if we turn these knobs?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now everything, you can open up a laptop, you can create an entire album of hip hop music or house music or whatever you want right on your laptop. But back then, in order to get those sounds, you had to get that particular keyboard, get that particular drum machine to get that sound. You know, and then you could sample it later on. But you know what I mean? Like to me, it's the same energy, it's the same vibe. It's the same everything. It's the same intention. You're there to make people move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not making music for people to sit back and just.
It's almost hypnotic. You're almost putting them in a hypnotic trance.
Yeah, but it's something with inertia. The movement, the soul of it, the energy of it. It's got inertia that moves forward.
Like a wave,
it doesn't move backwards. It moves forward, constantly forward. New technologies, new things, and that's what hip hop was. Always moving forward. That's what house music and electronic music. Forward. And so that's why a lot of people they can't relate, because it's it's moving around, it's doing all this stuff.
Right.
Like right now, trap is really big, right? Trap music. Trap music came from Southern hip hop from the early 2000s, late 90s.
Oh, is that like
take away
Yellow Wolf or?
Yeah. Yellow Wolf is trap. Yeah.
Right.
So or Yellow Claw.
Oh, okay.
So you take away the rapping, and then you replace it with squelches and electronic noises and things like that, which came from dubstep, came from London, came from the whole hip hop London influence.
It's all connected.
It's you know what I'm saying. So there's no walls, and once you put walls, then you're limiting yourself. Idea wise, you're limiting yourself when there's no limits. Right. And so let the old white men who run the record companies give it another stupid name and whatever. It's probably the same asshole that did Mullet, right? But let them give it the stupid names, because the people who make the music, who are the music, who are in the music, we know the truth. So we know the truth of what hip hop is. Hip hop isn't gangsters. Hip hop isn't this, that, or the other thing. Hip hop is everything. And that is one aspect. This is one aspect. This is another aspect.
And they make up a whole.
Right. And I have people come up, and I'll go into a house set in the club after playing everything. Go into a house set, and people are all just like, meh.
Wow.
I'm like, go get a drink, man.
Yeah.
What point would it be to mean mug me, man? Like, whatever, man. Like, I'm sorry that you only like one kind of music.
Right.
I really am.
Yeah.
It sucks to be you.
Sucks to be you.
But that's not happening here tonight. I'm not going to play house music. I love house music. But I can't play 4 hours of house music.
No.
I would get restless. I love hip hop. I can't play 4 hours of hip hop. I can, technically I can, but it'd be kind of boring though, you know what I mean? Like I can't, how do I make that interesting and keep it going, you know? So like when I play my 90s night at Charlie's, I will play the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I will play the Spice Girls. Wow. But I'll also play Tribe Called Quest and Craig Mack. Oh yeah. But I also play Snoop Dogg, but I also play Britney Spears. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all one. What's the vibe, man? Like, is that vibe moving you? Is it got inertia? Does it feel good? Does it make you want to sing? Does it make you want to dance? Does it, you know what I mean? And if that's the case, dude, I don't care who sings it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't care what genre it is. Right. If it moves you, to this day, if I play Back in Black from AC/DC, it still bangs on the floor, man. Right. And I'm not gonna go, that's a rock song from the, whatever, man. It bangs, man. Yeah. Whatever, I'll drop it, man. Yeah. So that's I think that's the difference, and that's a real New York kind of a thing, I think. And maybe it's more universal now, but in the 80s, that felt like a really New York thing. To it's whatever's whatever. Well,
with the DJs they're coming out with now, they're wearing big old mouse heads. They're doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. You're gonna slide right in there, man.
I don't think I can wear a mask.
They got no. You don't have to. You got the kukui nut necklace.
There you go.
And your whole ensemble.
I got my branding.
And you're gonna be huge, brother.
Thank you, brother.
You are.
I appreciate. Give me a dab. I appreciate that, brother. Oh my God.
I can see it. Hey, you know what? We're coming up on almost an hour and a half. Well, actually, almost 2 hours, huh?
Yep.
So
that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I've done these podcasts before, and they're always like, "Yeah, it'll be about a half an hour," and I'm like, "You're talking to me, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be about 2 hours." So
I guess we're just gonna call this an end for this.
cool,
one.
man.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
Thank you
for coming. You know,
Ed. Thank you for being my friend.
Hey, thank you for being my friend. And I'll always remember you waking up in the morning doing your mixes, and now I'm gonna see you go off to New York, and you're gonna jam, and you're gonna kick.
I'm still gonna put.
ass.
Thank you. I'm still gonna put mixes that I do wherever I play. Are still gonna go to Mixcloud, so you'll be able to hear what I'm doing.
Okay. Hey,
up there as
tell
well.
everybody how to.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at DJ Blast Maui. Mixcloud at DJ Blast Maui. Everything's at DJ Blast Maui.
Okay.
There are other DJ Blasts out there. There's like 3 in Africa for some reason. It's weird. It's kind of weird.
But you're the only DJ Blast Maui.
I'm the only DJ Blast Maui, but I'm also the only DJ Blast to spell it as one word.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I did that when I got the moniker in '88. I was like, or '87. I was like, I'm just gonna spell it as one word. And this is before the internet.
Right.
So
right.
no one is spelling stuff, but I just thought I'm gonna spell it as one word. Chilltown's one word as well. And I just thought, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna do it as one word because if there's ever another DJ Blast, I'll be the only one that does it one word.
Right.
And I'm so glad I did that because here we
No,
are.
there you are. Yes.
It's so weird, but yes, that's it's one word. So, like my fan page, please. I'm on Facebook. My fan page is DJ Blast, and you can see me with my hat and everything. And I'm really close to 600 likes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm literally like 2 clicks away from 600 likes. So
All right.
if I can get to 600 likes, that'd be great.
Yes.
Get me those likes, Ed.
I'm going to try, man. I'm going to try. Hey, you guys out there, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I know I did. And I love you, bro.
I love you too, man. Thank you for influencing me with your movies and stuff,
Oh,
man.
yeah,
yes. I feel like we should like stop this one, reverse it, and I ask you questions about your movies and stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. We're both got a goal. And
We're dreamers,
and
bro.
we're dreamers. And we've always been that way.
We've always been that
so
way.
here we are.
And forward inertia
Right.
is taking us into these places,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
My son, who's really, he's like his biological mother is very Hawaiian. I'm half Hawaiian, and he looks really Polynesian, right? And I said, man, you can get a lot of heat when you go to the mainland and everything like that. And he never talked pidgin. I didn't raise him that way and stuff like that. He's not into this or that Hawaiian stuff, right?
Right.
And then so I was joking with him one day, and I said, "What kind of Hawaiian you, bro?"
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he goes, "21st century Hawaiian."
Wow.
And I was like, bro, I was like, that was my son that just said that. And you know what? And I always taught him, and I love that he said that to me because I always taught him, and I'm not into really Hawaiiana. I fished and did all that when I was a kid. And I'm not really into the whole Hawaiiana thing, and people might think that's disrespectful, but I disagree, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because I look at my Hawaiian heritage, even my Chinese heritage, and I look at people who, through adversity, created cultures, languages, music, dance, everything by mastering their surroundings. The Hawaiians were not okay fishermen. They were great fishermen.
Yeah.
They weren't okay navigators. They were incredible navigators.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't okay warriors. They were great warriors. They were great farmers. They were great people. They were great musicians. They were great dancers. They were great at everything.
Yeah.
So I used to tell my son when he was younger, you know how you represent your Hawaiian heritage? You master everything you do.
Nice.
That's it.
Yes.
You don't need to wear lei and shaka.
Yeah.
He does shaka though. Yeah. But I say you don't have to like hit people over the head with it. Be you. Master everything you do, and that's how you honor your culture.
But also though, him being wherever he's at, the minute he says, "Oh, I'm from Hawaii," that red carpet rolls out.
He doesn't want to.
I know, but it's gonna happen.
He won't. He refuses to tell anybody he's from Hawaii, man. And I'm like, bro, I said, I'm going to New York.
Yeah.
And every place I go, I'm from Hawaii. I'm doing it, man. Because I've lived on the mainland before.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't look like a regular person, right? My mix is really strange, right? And so people would give me, I lived in Florida in the late 70s, people were giving me heat, man. Oh, the way they treated my dad was terrible. My dad's Filipino Portuguese.
Right.
The way they treated us was just really weird in my first experience of racism. And I get some heat from somebody, and then when I say, "No, man, I'm from Hawaii." Oh, well, they're my best friend
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
They're my best friend.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to be a friend with you, you racist. Like, what the, what the hell, man? But yeah, that Hawaii thing, you're exactly right. It's so exotic and so wild that people just go, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so whatever, man. Like, I'm older now. I don't care, man. Like, if I can monetize this stuff, and it's not like I'm lying.
Yeah.
I'm from Hawaii, man. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. So yeah, that it's crazy to think about, and you think about Obama, and you think about The Rock, and you think about Bruno. You know, and the Moana movie.
Yes.
Hawaii's on the rise. You know, and it's one of those things that's like, okay, man, like, well, let's show them what the culture is. Let's show them. Let's show the beauty. Let's show the power. Let's show that we're creative, energetic, loving people. We're entertainers. You know, we're best.
Well, you know what, brother? You're gonna go to New York and you're gonna show them the power. So hey, sorry, we're gonna have to end this.
Yeah, man, for sure. 100%.
But it was nice talking to you once again.
Yeah, man.
And like how you said, follow your dreams. Be good at whatever you do.
Be great at whatever you do.
Be great at whatever you do.
Honor that, man.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I'll see you, man.